Hello, 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 everyone. It's Friday night and it's time for PoliTarology. I'm here with Shari of Voices from the Swamp and Cleo the Seer. And I think by now you know me, but I am Colleen Pearl, the cool crone. And it seems like we are doing this show in the midst of some breaking news and we can't watch it because we're doing the show. So I don't know if Shari, if you got, maybe I could put something on
Look
my
at the
phone.
first question that we got. What was the
Yeah.
last I said to you
Yeah.
before we went live?
Okay, let's do that. Let's just jump into the questions. Okay, Lisa Graham, you're on deck. We're gonna read on this. And
Let's
Cleo, if
find
you're
out.
ready before me and Sherry, you just go ahead and jump in.
Well,
Because
no,
Ben Marcellus of Midas Touch managed to get a one-on-one interview with President Biden.
Yes, I saw
They
it.
dropped it Monday or Tuesday of this week. It was a really good interview.
Yeah.
But there was at one point he was asking Biden about some stuff, and Biden just leaned in and says, "I'm not going anywhere." And I'm like, "Oh shit." That was my thought. It was like, "Oh."
And
wait a minute.
then he kind of backed up and said, I'm still going to be involved with stuff. I'm still going to be helping out. And
Yeah.
well, somebody on here just said that the Congress has avoided the shutdown. Well, that is really something we needed to have happen. But yesterday they said that they had done that, and then a couple hours later they said no, we can't do that. So let's hope this one sticks.
we got 5 hours till midnight. That's the deadline.
Yep.
And as far as Joe and Kamala returning to DC, I did hear something about that. And I felt like at the time it's because the whistleblower has come through with some information that you wouldn't want to be talking about over the phone.
Yeah. Well, and also yesterday was the deadline. Yesterday or the day before was the deadline for the DNI, Avril Haines, to put in her report. So they would have had time to read her report yesterday. And that could have been part of the whistleblowing. There could be someone else too. But
there's several big time whistleblowers.
I think so too. All right.
And
so
the whistleblower that brought up all the crap about Hunter Biden has come forward and said it was all lies.
Yes, that's true. That's true too. So this little snowball is gaining momentum as it rolls down the hill. Okay. So why did Joe and Kamala return to DC last night? Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, I just told you what I thought. That the whistleblower is there and they need to, or somebody else is there that they need to talk to one-on-one. No emails, no phone calls. This is really confidential, top secret, and it may be coming from outside the United States.
Wow. It most likely is coming.
I started with the high priestess. Kamala, anybody? Followed by the Ten of Wands reversed. So what that's pointing to some stealth that they're trying to get away with. Followed by the Moon. So everything is still kind of hidden. It's starting to come to light, but it's still in the moonlight.
Yeah.
And then the Two of Pentacles reversed. That's financial, what does it say here? Financial decisions, financial burdens not going the way they think. Followed by the Four of Pentacles, jealousy and greed. So yeah, I'm looking at this and going, oh, holy crap. Something big is getting ready to come down.
I'm looking at this and saying, I am so goddamn glad I stuck to my guns because so many people were saying, oh, when Trump gets in, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, not happening. No, not happening. So I am saying glory, hallelujah. I'm sorry, Shari. I just had to say that. So what else?
Hey, I'm right behind you. I mean,
right? Yeah.
I was like, what I'm feeling is this. Logically, my brain is telling me that. So you get both and you decide, what you're going to take to heart. But
Okay. So do you have more on your cards?
that's it. Nope, that's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. So I had a very similar weird bunch of cards come out. The first card that came out for me was the Tower. So it starts with the
Ooh.
Tower. So the proverbial it hit the fan, right? And I love what crosses them. The Three of Cups, they are so goddamn happy they can spit. They're just like, yes, it's happening. So I hope they weren't too drunk when they got off that plane, because they would have been celebrating already. Okay. And then underneath that, we have the Page of Wands. So the person who is briefing them or talking to them or whatever, I think was on the plane with them and talking to them as they flew back across the country, so
Oh,
that
wow.
they at least got up to speed, because this was that important. This was so, so, so important. What is in the past for them is judgment. Yeah, a lot of people, all those stupid media people saying, well, why did she lose the election? Here's why she lost the election. Correction, she didn't lose the damn election. What crowns her is King of Pentacles, and this is not Mr. T. The King of Pentacles, I feel, is one of the whistleblowers. So I don't know. I haven't looked at Mark Ruta's chart. I don't know if he's an earth sign or not. Could be him. It could be like somebody involved with putting the evidence together and stuff, like a Jack Smith, or what's that guy's name who's his right hand? Is it Alex Whitling, something like
Something
that?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
That could be my 10 of Wands reversed is one of those whistleblowers. I didn't even think about that.
yeah, absolutely. And then I have the Four of Wands, and in this deck, it is not the celebration card. It is her kicking back and being like, yeah, I got this, sucker. And I think that is Kamala saying, can we say I may still be Madam President?
And you know what I'm noticing? I'm using my Christmas elf deck here.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of the meanings are a little bit different. Pictures are definitely different. But I didn't even notice until just now. Now, my first card was a high priestess.
Yeah.
But look at what's on that card.
What
Little
does it say?
pumpkins and
Oh.
skeletons on the Christmas tree.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so no bueno for who's ever that.
Somebody's
Yeah.
cleaning something out of the closet.
Yep. Now, what she in her hopes and fears position, justice. I don't think it's a fear. I think she's hoping. I think she's really
Yeah.
happy about that. And look at this. Look at the face on her. She's just like, oh, it's not focusing. Is it? Did it focus?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And look at the redheaded child's face. That's Mr. T. Oh, he's gonna get spanking. And what people are thinking about for her now, usually the Ace of Pentacles just means money, but I think in this case, what Ace of Pentacles is saying is that we're going to make things whole. We're going to make things right. That this is in our country's body. It's going to be whole and correct. Card for the fears of what's going on, Page of Pentacles, that there's going to be other people that just kind of drain the information away and try to challenge it and make it not so. That's what she's afraid of, is that these stupid Republicans are going to somehow gum up the works with their stupid propaganda. But as I have said since the very beginning, this is not about a vote recount. It isn't actually even about whether Trump is viable as a president or not. It's about the whole world and how basically Vladimir Putin has been getting everybody to push authoritarianism and fascism. And there is so much of it going on in the world. And he is manipulating all these elections all over the world, not just our country, but all over the world. And that's what it's really about. And the final outcome is the Chariot for her. So things will, I mean, they're not going to go fast enough for all of us, but they're going to go pretty fast in the grand scheme of things. It's not going to be, overnight. It's December 20th. We have a month before the inauguration. Sterling has said all along that she will be inaugurated on the 20th. So, might good. It might good. It
Well,
might.
so while you guys were going through your cards, I just jotted this down: Elon Musk, Trump, Vance, FBI. Now, there's something going on there. That's not the whistleblowers, I don't think.
No.
And I thought when you started talking about Putin, I'm thinking Musk for sure Musk, but probably Trump too. Direct contact. They may have made some phone calls. They may have gotten together with Mr. Putin. So yeah, I see that those three are something's going on with them and the FBI. Not maybe right this minute, but I really think that whatever they went back to Washington D.C. for, Kamala and Joe, that it does have to do with the whistleblowers saying what they have is actual evidence. So when you're talking about the people in Congress trying to poo-poo it and saying, oh, hell no, you can't do this, they have direct, solid evidence of something. And that is what they're getting together right now, talking about, looking at, and deciding how they're going to use this information and how they're going to spring it on us.
Yeah, how do they give it to us? Because so many people will be like, Yahoo! And then there's going to be a portion, I think a small portion, but nevertheless, a very vocal portion of the population who will be upset by this in the extreme. But, here's the thing. Think about all of those MAGAs that voted for him or thought they voted for him, and then they were Googling, how do I reverse my vote? How do I change my vote? What does tariffs mean?
In the areas that required a recount because the votes were so close, they're discovering that she far outweighed him and won the popular vote.
Yeah.
So
not surprising.
I like what Diana here says: psychological warfare through social media and radio and right-wing news. And that's a major thing. Aspie was talking about, if this really was done in the way that we're thinking, it's not just the Dems that got shorted out.
That's right.
Republican voters as well.
Right.
And
That's
then,
right.
Who was it? Put may this be the early Yule gift from Spirit. I agree. But there was this was the first thing I saw that Aspie put. Kamala's biggest relief will be that the people really did support her.
Yeah, they really did. I know. And I know, I agree 100% that is really her biggest disappointment was that that people didn't believe what she was saying when what she was saying was really great. I am thrilled that this is going on. Great. Okay, so what were we going to read after this about them?
Moses Mike, is he going to be ousted as Speaker of the House?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Tonight?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be that
soon enough.
I'm sure.
You know what?
But he's not going to be replaced by Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not going to be Speaker of the House.
Well, these are two separate, delicious, and juicy questions. So let's do Mikey first.
And then we'll do Elon.
Yeah. Will he be removed before Christmas? Or wait, they're going on
they're going on break
tonight, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think so, because they've got to get the budget in by tonight.
So will they, disbar him or bring him down or kick him off tonight? because they don't need a speaker while they're on break.
Because, a whole lot of us kept saying that we were seeing Hakeem
Hakeem.
take over before the new Congress comes in.
Yes, me especially.
And
you've been saying that.
my, wouldn't this just be the perfect?
Yes.
My opinion only here. This isn't what Spirit's saying to me, but I'm just saying, could you be any clearer in your message? Let's see.
Well, depending also on how the budget goes, if Moses Mike has to make concessions that Trump doesn't like, Trump may just make sure that they take him out. Not knowing, I love it the way things turn on Trump lately, not realizing that if he did something like that, Jeffries would be put in his place.
Right. Okay, so Mikey.
First thing I got, the devil.
So Trump is on it. He's on it like white on rice.
Oh,
and then I got the 9 of Cups, and that's like the cat eating the canary, licking up the cream from the bowl that like, ooh, I scored big time. Followed by the 3 of Pentacles. It's going to take teamwork. And I think that there are enough people in Congress, both houses, that are just fed up already and are willing to work together to be done with this. Because the feeling I keep picking up is that there are a lot of congressmen and women of both parties that are like, we're royally effed. We'd have been better off if we had stuck with her. I mean.
Well, and as far as the budget, they're saying the budget's passed the House. It's got to go through the Senate. Who knows what it says, but if it doesn't say what Trump has said, is if it doesn't say that he's got this unlimited amount of money for the next 2 years, that they shouldn't pass it. And everybody is like, okay, so everybody is like, they're not going to get that. He's doing what Trump is doing. I wish I understood this whole process better, but Trump is doing something that he realized he got screwed by Biden. And he's trying to turn it around now so that he can protect himself for the next 2 years. And so he wants them to have, I can't remember the term. But yeah, he wants the Republicans to make sure that he gets all this money. They can't do that. Nobody's going to go for that. So if that's what is included in the budget that they so-called passed, the Senate won't approve it. But everybody wants this thing to go through right before Christmas, please. We got to. Personally, all this screw up and playing off one and the other party about the budget, it just is irritating, frustrating.
Well, Star and Flurry just put the budget has passed the House.
Yeah. Well, I know, but
yeah, that was the main thing. But doesn't it have to be approved by the Senate?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it absolutely does.
And part of what President-elect Musk and his lackey Trump are trying to do is now they're telling Congress, we don't need to raise the debt ceiling. We need to just get rid of it because we don't need that. So that way they can put however many trillions of dollars on the debt that they want without any oversight on it. Or without anybody knowing.
That is the vocabulary I was looking for, Shari. Raising the debt ceiling. Yeah, that's what he wants to do. So he can just have a blank check and do whatever he wants.
But they didn't do that. They didn't include the debt ceiling. They didn't allow that, I don't think.
No, the makeup bill that they tried to make up real fast this morning or yesterday or whenever it was had all that crap in it. It was like,
no, that's when the 38 said no, we're not approving that.
exactly.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Okay, so they come back January 3rd. So they're only gone for about 2 weeks. So my cards, my pendulum says, is he going to be gone? Yeah, big time. Yeah, he gone. He's not coming back. I mean, he's going to have his position, I guess, unless he quits like
Hallelujah.
Kevin McCarthy. I mean, he could just resign. But his cards are very interesting. So the cards start out with 9 of Pentacles. So Mikey's feeling like he got to win. He got this budget through. He got to win, right? But then he's crossed by the Page of Cups, which means that somebody is going to come up with some surprising information. And then underneath him is the Ten of Swords, which is a big bad thing. That means he's getting stabbed in the back. That means somebody is betraying him big time. Four of Swords is in the past where he just tried to like placate and just do all the things that they wanted him to do. What crowns him, though, is the Queen of Pentacles, and I don't know who the Queen of Pentacles is. A lot of readers have been reading the Queen of Pentacles lately as Avril Haines, but that doesn't have as much to do with Mikey Johnson, except that he did kind of help with the orchestration of January 6th. So maybe part of that is in the whistleblower's agenda. Maybe. So we'll see. Then we got the sun that comes out right in front of him. So whether that makes him happy or not, I don't know, but it sure does mean that things are exposed, that secrets are exposed, things are coming to light, and we might be really happy. We got the Six of Pentacles here. He's longing for the past. We got the Five of Cups. People are upset. They think, oh, he's going down. He's done for, basically, is what people around him are thinking. Seven of Wands, he's going to try to defend his territory, but it's going to be like, I have this image of him where in a movie, you know how somebody's right up close in the camera and they're saying something, but you can't hear what they're saying. It's like they're just mouthing the words. And then the camera pans and his face gets smaller and smaller and smaller until he's just a dot on the horizon. So he literally is being moved into obscurity. He is not going to make it. And the final thing is the Four of Cups. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did resign his seat fairly soon afterwards, because there's just no reason for him to be there. He failed his master. He failed in his task. So no bueno for Moses Mikey, and sayonara. Can't wait to see the end of you. So now let's talk about President Musk. I love it.
And real quick, Rhapsody and Rainbow shared the 2-year suspension on the debt ceiling, according to Ground News.
Yes.
How did they do that? Does that mean it can't go up for 2 years?
No, that means they can't.
But say what does it mean?
It means that Trump can do anything he wants. He wants something like $5 trillion that he can just.
Oh, he did get it
in the ether and just let all this money sit there so that he doesn't have to deal with it, and he just has that there, and so it can solve all his problems.
Isn't there some kind of a law? This is almost like jury tampering, what he's doing, him and Musk. I mean, isn't there some kind of a law against this? I mean, they're not even in office.
It's a federal offense to interrupt or try to sway Congress, either house, into doing something by, purposefully threatening and or offering,
lock them up.
You want to see your kids grow up? Well, you better do what we say. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of.
So
we knew something was coming. We all felt it. We all knew something was coming.
So if Mikey ends up not being speaker, how quickly can they get somebody else in there to be speaker?
Well, like that, don't you remember the thing with Kevin McCarthy? They can do it over 2 weeks or a week or so, or they can do it right away.
Well, I mean, vote on it right away. How will that affect things between? What I'm thinking is there's something coming down that's going to go before Congress. Trump is going to be disqualified is one thing I'm thinking. And you have to have a speaker You have to have somebody
Yes,
leading the charge.
they have to swear in the new members of Congress on January 3rd when they start their new session. Now, if they have no actual speaker, they can have somebody appointed. Like, you remember that guy, Patrick Henry?
Yeah, he was like,
So they'll have one of those
fill-in. God
guys.
damn it.
So they'll have, sorry. So
Sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
you can curse, just don't curse at me.
No, I wasn't. I dropped cards again. I was like, God damn it!
Oh,
Darn it!
God.
I got
So-
fumble fingers
So
tonight.
they'll have that acting person do their thing, and then they'll pick a new. So they'll swear everybody in, and then they'll start fighting about who the speaker is. And I'm telling you, let's do a reading on it. What's going to happen to President Musk? Does President Musk have any prayer of becoming the speaker?
I don't see how. I mean, he's
He's
not a politician. He's not an elected official of any kind.
That doesn't
You don't
matter.
have to be.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
You
That's
don't,
why
you
they
don't- you don't have
proposed
to
him.
be a United States
Who
citizen.
came up with
No.
that stupid rule? You know. But
Well,
yeah, no,
apparently he is a United States citizen. Don't you listen to regular media? They all proclaim that all those stories about him not being a regular citizen. Oh no, they swept that all under the rug. Now they're saying that, oh yeah, but now he is. So anyway, let's see. Is he have a prayer? Does he have a prayer of becoming made speaker?
that's.
It just stood still. It's like, are you kidding me? Okay. So I don't think we need to do cards on that. I think we did it. Go
Straight.
ahead, Sherry, with what you got.
Three of Swords. The Nine of Swords. So heartbreak and worry side by side. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna happen at all.
Yeah.
Leo ran away from us.
Yeah, Jeanette said this is important because although you don't have to be a member of Congress, he would be third in line for the president. So a naturalized citizen, I don't think can become president. So
you cannot
so
get
that's
hold the
another
office of
strike against
president
it.
if you're not born here.
However, if this were a Trump reality administration, all that would be thrown out the window so that Elonia could get her position. They would throw it out, guys. If they were really in
True.
charge, this is what they would do. Anything they want. And so, but if they're playing by real rules, by house rules, by United States real rules, no, he cannot do that. Okay, so now let's see how fast Hakeem Jeffries can get made speaker. How fast? January 3rd? As long as it's before January 20th, I feel like my predictions were right. Did I mention that I have an ego and that
Justice.
that would be justice?
Two of Swords.
Got to make a decision.
And the Six of Wands.
Victory. Okay.
Yep. So with the Justice card there, I'm feeling like this Two of Swords is gonna make their decision real easy. And then the Six of Wands, you know, they're waving their peppermints in the air because they're happy. So I think he stands a real good chance.
And we're sure hearing a lot more from him lately. Jeffries is on the news a lot more. He's making announcements about certain things. So yeah, there's a good, and also I'm going by the readings for this last year that have been coming up about Jeffries, especially Colleen's definitely one that was saying that he was going to be in there before now even.
Mhm.
But a lot of other people have talked about that he's going to be the speaker. And I'm thinking, well, if we have a Trump administration, how would he ever be speaker, or how would this ever happen right now? Well, I see right now that's about the only way it could happen is if it happens right now, because if it happens, if Trump is put into office, it won't happen.
I gotta say, with all the timeline jumping, yeah. But the thing is that how is Mercury and Mars hitting Hakeem Jeffries' chart? How are they hitting Trump's chart? How are they hitting
Yeah.
Biden's chart,
I
right?
don't understand enough about that to
Yeah,
even chin that I
yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
So
Those what she said, or he, or I don't know who Celtic Seer is, but
she's
um,
pretty good.
oh, she, okay.
Yeah, she's
But
pretty.
also you got to think about how it hits the particular charts. But for Jeffries, what I got is Queen of Pentacles, or I mean, Six of Pentacles, which is something, you know, generosity, somebody, quid pro quo, really, you help me, I'll help you, which he has been helping them continuously. He has been helping them continuously. Oh, Trump and yeah, that's what I thought, Star and Flurry. That's what I
Yay.
thought, that they
Very
took
good.
it
Thanks
out.
for confirming that for us.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I had heard, and I thought, oh, okay, well, that's done. So, but with the Six of Pentacles there for Hakeem, there is a generosity there. People are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. The Two of Pentacles means that, yeah, it's a little dicey. It's a decision that has to be made, votes that have to be taken. So it's not a for certain thing generally. But the other card I got is the Queen of Wands. So if Miss Pelosi has anything to do with it, she is the Queen of Wands, being an Aries and on all of her experience and everything, then he's definitely going to get it. And wands are action cards and they mean things go quickly. So I would say, I don't know, January 3rd, 4th, 5th, he's going to be the speaker. But you got to prepare that on January 3rd, if Moses Mike has already been taken down, they're gonna mount a big campaign for it to be Alonia. They just are, because they're idiots and they just ignore our laws and all of that stuff. So once everybody talks them down off the ledge and they realize that there's no way that Elonia is going to be speaker, then they'll have a real, and that's what I think the delay is from January 3rd, 4th, 5th. I think the delay is the Republicans trying to make a case for Elonia. And once they get all that nonsense out of the way, then they'll do a real vote, a real election, and Hakeem will walk away with it. Because even last time, Hakeem had a lot of people voting for him that weren't Democrats,
Right.
because they know he can get things done. And also by that time, we have so many seats that are still a little up in the air. Not so many, but we have a few that are still up in the air. When those seats are filled by special election, that could be turning the majority over. But even right now, what is it? 2 seats that the
Yeah.
Republicans have? And of those Republicans, how many of them are actually going to vote with the Democrats anyway because they think their party is a bunch of nincompoops? They don't really have a majority.
When you get Chip Roy go to the floor blasting his own party about being idiots,
That was
like,
great. That
it's
was
like what timeline did I just jump into when I heard that earlier? I was like, it's literally cognitive dissonance in my brain. It was like I can't pull both thoughts in at the same time.
yeah.
Well, in
So
response to the cards think that any Congress people will be arrested. I don't do cards, but I've seen this happening over and over again. When push comes to, when the shit hits the fan, when this thing comes down where we're finding out that Trump is going to be disqualified, yes, a lot of people, including Trump's attorneys and all the people that stood behind him and backed him up in a lie, they're all going to be arrested because they have to answer for what they have done.
Yeah.
And really, once that happens, then everything comes unglued, because there's a bunch of people that are politicians that back up Trump that really believe, well, they couldn't really believe it, but they try to act like they believe that this is what was going on. They're still saying that the 2020 election was rigged or whatever they thought it was. And so, yes, those people are all going to be arrested, but they won't all end up being found guilty of something. They won't all end up in prison, but a few will. A few will. The few, they're going to have to face the music.
I can tell you some of them who are the most likely people to be arrested. Mike Johnson, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gates,
Jim Jordan.
Jim Jordan, Andy
Thank you for your
Biggs.
donation,
Eh,
Rose.
Oh, thank you. Andy Biggs, Mike Waltz of Florida, Eli Crane of Arizona, Andy Ogles of Tennessee, Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, South Carolina, Ralph Norman, Bob Good from Virginia. These are the morons that went up to New York City while people on the sidewalk in New York City were saying, New York hates you, bump, 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 bump. New York hates you, bump, bump, while Trump was coming out of his car. So Vivek Ramaswamy was one of those idiots. Eric and Lara Trump, Rick Scott, J.D. Vance, Tommy Tuberville, Doug Burgum. Now we're getting into people who didn't go to New York, but who were just super duper butt lickers, So
Well, I see JD Vance talking with the FBI, and I think that there's a good possibility that he will tell them the truth. And if that happens, mainly because he's got to protect himself, this whole thing could just entirely ruin his career. Not only would he's not going to be vice president, but he would not be a senator anymore. He would be in prison. Because he has supported Trump whole hog about everything that's going on, and he's been very arrogant about it. And I'm thinking, you guys think that people aren't going to find out? Surprise, surprise. There are people that know what's going on, and they're not even in this country. So I think that's part of it. They're thinking, they'll never put two and two together. I'll never be in trouble. No, they're in trouble, and Vance is going to sing like a bird when it comes down to it, because he's going to finally say to himself, "Oh, wait a minute. Am I willing to give it all up for Trump? No."
And it's part of their arrogance.
He's also upset because Elon Musk has taken his place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were you going to say, Shari?
I said that's part of their arrogance, is that they don't think that they're going to be held accountable for anything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Trump has never been held accountable for anything.
Right. For the people in the chat who are just putting all the other people's names in there, I was starting out with the list of people who actually went to New York to support him. Remember, they all wore the same suits and ties.
Yep.
Like the Mickey friggin' Mouse Club for Trump. But I want to say something else about J.D. Vance. He's very late to the party being a Trump supporter. Don't forget, a couple of years ago, he was saying Trump was the American Hitler. And he when did he get nominated to be VP? That was very recent. I mean, the Republican convention was in July.
Yeah.
And I think that's about when Vance got pulled in. So it's only been July, August, September, October, November, 6 months. It's only been 6 months that he's been on the Trump bandwagon. Now, for him, it's been a whirlwind 6 months, but still, you're right.
And who's been relegated to the back room in the corner?
Exactly.
For the last month.
Had a lot of time on his hands. And when he didn't go to the Senate to put in his votes against the judges for Biden, Trump got very upset with him. But then he turned around and he ran up there and he did what Trump wanted him to do. But I'm with you. I think Vance is a loose cannon. He's a loose cannon.
He's also a military guy, and when push comes to shove,
I
don't know that he might be one of those kind of people that he couldn't really go through this whole VP process knowing that there was some illegal stuff done to get to that place. I don't, he might be that way. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't give a shit. But, I see him as a good possibility to be coming up with the truth, which really helps everything. The other thing I was going to mention is how soon will we have an idea? Maybe it won't be all out there, but will we have an idea that what we're talking about is going to happen? This disqualification, these arrests,
Let's read on that. I think that's a very good question.
Well, and I will tell you that a lot of psychics on here have predicted that we're going to know something about this by Christmas.
That's what I think.
Well, that's just days away.
Mm-hmm.
So
here's the thing too. There's a new moon on the 30th. And new moons don't necessarily reveal things, but they are the seeds and beginnings of things. The astrology has calmed down quite a bit. So there's not a lot astrologically going on, but the repercussions of what has already happened between the full moon and today are huge. And that's what we're seeing right now. So I think that, this train is going to keep rolling. And I do think we could have how can Kamala come out and say that he's not, eligible or qualified or whatever to actually take the oath of the presidency because he threatened Liz Cheney and not follow that up with more stuff? We need that. And we also, there are people who have been putting forth lawsuits using the 14th Amendment as a reason to disqualify him. And I think I think there's going to be a confluence of all these things because remember, it's not going to be just one thing. It's going to be a confluence of domestic issues against Trump, but also the worldwide issues against Trump, which includes Putin and all of that stuff. So I don't know how much we'll hear about the Putin stuff because that's going to involve NATO and Article 5, I think.
Yeah.
And that's coming closer. That's coming closer and closer and closer to being a reality. And especially with the DNI giving out her report, which somebody corrected me, the deadline was today for her to give in her report. I thought it was yesterday or Wednesday. But that it's happening.
But I've heard even though we're talking about certification of votes.
We are?
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about all the stuff coming out and us knowing the full story.
No, okay. So what happens by the 20th? What happens by today?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, the DNI, Avril Haines, had 45 days from the date of the election to make a report about any interference or cheating, shenanigans. Yeah. And she made that report apparently today. We don't know. It didn't come out in the public, but she had to give it to, I don't know who she had to give it to. Maybe Biden?
Well,
I think she has to turn it into
do with everybody flying back to Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. So your biggest whistleblower is Avril Haines. That's the biggest one. She is a very slender, dark-haired woman. And a lot of people have been seeing her as the Queen of Pentacles because she's dark-haired. And I would agree with that. I think what she has to say is devastating. But I think
it has been certified. The votes have been certified. But I guess that just because they've been certified doesn't mean you can't go back and say, hey, wait a minute, look at this is what happened.
Because the votes, if they did an actual recount of the votes, it probably would not change the supposed outcome of Trump winning the Electoral College and Kamala winning the popular vote. That probably would not change with a recount because of the way they cheated. And we all know, because
they've destroyed the ballots and they've electronically deleted things.
Yeah.
That can't be revived.
And not just deleted, manipulated things. They manipulated things so badly. I mean, everybody's talking about the bullet ballots, right? So you have all these ballots where they vote for one person for president at the top, and then they either don't vote for anybody else on the ballot, they just leave it blank, which is the bullet, or they vote for the other party's candidates all the way down the ballot.
Which is what Hakeem Jeffries talked about. He announced it. He said he didn't accuse anybody of doing anything wrong. He just suggested that it was just very unusual that that Trump won on a bunch of states, but those same states voted for all Democrats for everything else. Actually, it was 5 out of 6 states, the 6th state being Pennsylvania, that it didn't work out that way. But the other 5, they voted for Trump, but then they voted for all Democrats. They said he just kept saying stuff like that's just so it's so unusual.
It just
that would happen.
Yeah. I love the way he talks. Just
Not to
so
mention,
so
there's a couple of forensic computer experts who, after 2012, when there was a lot of questioning from the Republicans because they were expecting a far different outcome from the ballots being counted than Obama winning, they started looking into different machines and what was going on. And with each progressive election since then, they've gone in and looked at the stuff where there was some kind of I guess a little virus or something put into these machines so that, for every third vote for a Democrat will automatically flip to Republican. And stuff like that. It's like, okay, you start doing that.
And also think that these voting machines are not all from the same company, and they don't all work the same way.
Some
And
of them are
many
old.
towns have different kind of technology. Like, I don't think in my town we have anything that hooks up to the internet. We've got one of those things where they pull a big effing lever to clear out the ballots, and the thing goes all blank, and then little lights light up. I mean, it is ancient. This thing is from the 1950s. And I mean, it looks like, from the 1950s. I mean, there's a lot of places that, these machines are so different. And so they had to be very creative, and they had to find out what were the machines that they had in various municipalities and towns and cities and states, and how do we cheat with those? And that's why they started early. That's why they had so many people involved on it. And it's going to be hard to, that's why the recounts just are not going to make any sense. They're just not going to make any sense. But go ahead.
What was just up there about that has to be certified before they could find a crime, or show that a crime had been committed. That I had heard that before, and that is a big deal. So I guess it answers my question anyway about the certification, and can you do anything after that, and even after this today's thing by the person you've been talking about, that that they can definitely go back in time and say, no, there was something really wrong. Problem is they can't. I just don't think that they don't have enough paper ballots to support exactly what you said, is that, we know that
and that's a big problem. A lot of those machines don't give out a paper balance of what was voted on. And so once that machine gets cleared, you've lost all the information.
Right.
And while a lot of machines aren't literally plugged into the internet, most of them have to be started in the mornings and the information set up in them. And how do you do that? They usually have a little disc that they got to put in. Well, where did the information on that disc come from? That came from online.
Right.
So,
a
few steps removed, but it can still be.
So many different ways that they have to address the cheating and stuff like that. But again, I don't think the recounting and the certification is what's going to pull everything down. I'm sorry, I have like one hair that's like going across my face and making me crazy. I feel like a cat, just like.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
But anyway, what I want to know is, now I wrote this down earlier today. Will the 14th Amendment issues, not the recount issues, but will the 14th Amendment issues be used to divert DJT from the NATO stuff and the DNI stuff? Because if he starts to get wind of what they're really worried about, he's going to be out there with lawsuits and this and that, and you can't do it, But I think that if they have, like him, if they have like too many things going on, I don't think he'll be able to address it because A, he's losing his mind. B, no attorneys will work for him anymore because nobody gets paid. And C, he's already reassigned any of the attorneys who would work for him, and they think they're going in his cabinet. So they're like, hey, I'm going to, on vacation until I have to start working on the 20th. So will something like the 14th Amendment issues, will that be used to divert his attention?
I don't know if it'll be used to divert his attention, but I think it's one of the things there's at least a half a dozen different ways that they can go with certain things. But I think that they are going to bring up the insurrection, and that yes, they should use the 14th Amendment, and that's what Jamie Raskin's been talking about.
Yep.
And so it's just a matter of time between that and the fact that Kamala Harris said, hey, he wants to shoot Liz Cheney. He's threatening her life and putting her in grave danger by doing that.
Yeah.
So yes, that's another thing that can come up. I mean, can you do that under the 14th Amendment? Article 3? No, you cannot.
Yeah, there's so many things. There's so many things that are going to be coming at him. The cards that I just threw out now, the first one is 8 of Wands. There's just going to be just a huge amount of stuff being thrown at him saying, no, you can't be president because of this. No, you can't be president because of that. So you are an insurrectionist. You can't be a president. You threaten somebody, with bodily harm, for no good reason. You can't be president. You're challenging these things in court.
He had a reason. The reason is that she went after him for the January 6th committee. So that's like saying that a judge makes a decision on something, and so the person turns around and kills them. Well, that's what Trump is basically saying with Liz Cheney. She's a horrible person, and that she should either be going to jail or be shot.
Yeah.
So yes,
and the thing of it is,
things.
You really don't want to come up against Daddy Cheney.
No,
because that man's got very long fingers and a very long reach into a lot of questionable pockets. Well, and I would not want him to be pissed off at me or want him to be upset because you go after his daughter for upholding the law and doing what the law tells it. I got the 5 of Swords. We're looking at defeat. A lot of just a lot of stuff hitting all at once. I know in the picture on this one, it's somebody stealing something and crunching gifts under their feet with somebody else off crying in the corner. I think that's going to be Trump. And then I got the 6 of Pentacles, which with this deck is charity, handouts, needing help. Yeah, he's going to be looking for some charity because, like Colleen said, he's not going to be able to get the attorneys to work for him because he won't pay them. He still hasn't paid. What city was it? Some city in Texas back during the campaign would not allow him to land. They had to fly on to the next airport because he still owes that city like $250,000 in security fees. And then I ended with the Queen of Pentacles, which if you look very carefully, this queen is a woman of color. As she sits upon her throne.
Well, do you have more?
That's it.
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. I have to jump in. I'm just so excited.
I know. Yeah. Go.
So, my pendulum, I just did my pendulum and I asked, will there be like at least 5 kind of like domestic lawsuit kind of things that will prevent him from taking office? It said yes. And then I said, will there be like 10? And it said yes. I can't come up with 10, but I did come up with 5. So the 14th Amendment as an insurrectionist, threatening Liz Cheney, election interference because of Musk buying votes and Trump doing nothing about it, election interference because Trump just threatens voters. I mean, he's threatened a lot of people, and congressional interference where he's been threatening Congress. That's 5 reasons right there for him to be disqualified. And then
Yeah.
you get the whole thing of the international thing where he is colluding with um, Putin to manipulate the votes across not just the United States, but maybe who knows if Trump wasn't involved with other things too. I mean, what was his thing going on with Viktor Orban and Kim Jong Un and Putin and all these different places that have authoritarians who hold elections, right? And all their elections kind of went to the authority, the authoritarian. So, I think that he's in for a world of hurt. That's what I think.
Well, and I think the documents that he stole.
Oh, right, the documents, right.
We
And
all
the
kind of want to
fact
forget
that
about it.
what
He
he
did
was talking
something.
about caused Nancy Pelosi's husband to be attacked in his own home.
Right, right. Inciting violence.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I think he did something with those documents, and I think that's part of the thing that they're going to find out about him. But there's just so many things coming up that he's got to. Let's see.
Rhapsody, are they saying publicly that he is currently disqualified now? I'm just trying to understand what you put here.
I mean, we all know he's disqualified for a variety of
But I'm
reasons.
talking about, have
but
they legally come forward and said on air, he's
yeah,
disqualified and
yeah.
cannot take the
I
office?
haven't heard that yet.
I haven't heard that yet either.
And as far as what's going to happen though is they're going to have enough evidence that a bunch of Republicans are going to go, oh hell no, I can't support this man just because he's Republican. When we see this information, when we get this kind of evidence, and that's I think that's what they're putting together to get that vote. Look in the coffin. Well, that's right. Still, we kind of forgot about the coffin for a while.
I have to break in here. Darla Vision asked me if I would ask the pendulum if he'd had done 20 things against him, and then she said, LOL. Darla, the pendulum said yes. I mean, as I'm starting to just jot down these things, I realize, oh my God, yeah, there could be at least 20 things because he's
Trump
done so
more
much.
than 30 things that's illegal.
Well,
Yes.
we know he's done more than 30 things that are illegal, but are they 30 things that would prevent him from being president? Because,
Yeah.
he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still elect him president.
Well, and the fact that he caused this insurrection and he caused the death of some people during the insurrection, and then he wasn't arrested and he wasn't held accountable, although they did try to take him to court on it. Anybody else, if they had done something like that, you don't go to court. This is a military matter.
Oh, you wouldn't
are
have gone to jail.
arrested.
You'd have gone under the jail. Yeah.
You are arrested. Exactly. Exactly. So very interesting. Yeah, he's just doing a bunch of shit. He's just terrible. What else let's see. Full story. Right. Oh, this is what I want to know. Two more questions I want to ask here. Will Biden invoke the presidential emergency, blah, 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 you all know what I'm talking about, act, and stay in office past January 20th?
Well, this is something I've read on before on here.
Mm-hmm.
Will Biden.
Yeah, I think that this is such a convoluted thing, and so much information is just like arriving right now. I thought that it was a long time ago, but I have a hard time with that. Just because I hear it, I think it's happening. So yeah, I think, like when you're talking about everybody flying back to Washington, D.C., they're getting some critical information right now. And I think that it's going to come down to Biden saying, look, we've got to sort everything out. So we're going to postpone the inauguration for right now, and he can't, he probably won't even really put a timeline on it. but they
Yeah.
want to have all their ducks in a row. Plus, they want to see, when this is exposed to the world, how many other leaders from or people outside the country will say, wow, they're looking into it. Finally, I got something to tell you. So, there could be a whole lot of other stuff coming up.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think, early on when we were reading on this, I was thinking that he would invoke the PEDS Act in conjunction with NATO invoking the fifth, whatever it is, Article 5, and putting boots on the ground in Europe to protect Ukraine against Russia and basically declaring war against Russia, and that we would be involved in some sort of a war event. And that would be the reason that he would be able to call it and then stay in. But I think that he's using just this is the emergency. It isn't a war per se. There may also be a war, but
we are in a war, but it's not
civil war. We're in a civil
We've
war.
been attacked
Yeah,
by
it's,
not just
it's,
our own people,
it's
but
not,
by foreign
not
agents.
bombs and airplanes and machine guns and stuff like that. It's through computers and cyberspace and cyber war, basically. Yeah,
I have several faculty that's their research that they do at school is cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And it's a lot worse than people realize.
Oh yeah, it is bad. I mean, if you just look at your phone, your smartphone, how much more spam are you getting? How many more spam phone calls are you getting? How much more spam email are you getting? I'm getting phony emails claiming to want me to contribute to a democratic cause when clearly it's like, I never signed up for you. What the hell are you? Why are you emailing me? I'm not going to send you anything. It's yeah, it's cuckoo
And
banana.
that's another thing. Be sure that if you click on any link, that it is the proper link, that there's no missing letters or added letters or
Right.
lines or underscores
Mhm.
because that's how they cheat a lot of people.
Mhm.
You could be emailing Colleen at thecoolcrone.com and all you have to do is misspell her name or take or add a letter or two from the after at. And it's going to look like you're doing something for Colleen, but it's going to be going to somewhere else. And
Exactly.
that's how they get a lot of people. So,
Yeah, a lot of people fall for that because they just don't read it carefully. If you're at all in question or you don't have time to read it carefully, just delete it. Just delete it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the risk. The
Yeah,
other thing,
exactly, Connie B. I delete it too.
yep, just delete it. Okay, so now let's circle back to one of the original things we wanted to know. Since he's going to pull delays, probably, will Kamala be able to be inaugurated on the 20th of January?
That's a good one.
I'm not sure. I've asked this of my guides so many times. I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's being pushed out a little bit just because
Mhm.
there's so much information, and you don't want to just suddenly put her in there because then the people will be like, well, they're not going to believe it. They have to have evidence that anybody could look at and go, oh my goodness, this is not good. This is not good, and of course we don't want Trump. We do want somebody else. She's second runner up. She's obviously the one that would be put in as president. And one thing I did want to mention, because I thought it was so funny when I came up with this about a week or two ago, and it doesn't really pertain to what we've been talking about, but I saw a vision of Marjorie Taylor Greene just blowing her mind when everything falls apart and she gets arrested, and she just goes absolutely off her rocker. I don't know if she returns back to any semblance of sanity, but I did see that, and I don't know I think it has to do with if Trump does not actually get to be president, she just loses her mind. So that's something to look forward to.
Well, I just asked my pendulum, will any of the key players be inaugurated on January 20th?
Oh, good
And
question.
it's telling me again, no. A very strong no, both times I thought
Yeah.
I've asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will whoever be inaugurated in February of 2025?
No.
An even bigger no. Will one of the key players be inaugurated in March of 2025? Still a no, but not as strongly. Will one of the key players be inaugurated in April of 2025? Oh, it just completely changed directions on me.
Yeah, mine
Yes.
too. Mine too. Mine too. Mine was right there,
Oh,
lockstep
wow.
with you. Yeah. So we are in for it. And I think we have the right president for the time that we are living in. And I think we're so lucky. We're so lucky to have him.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Not just someone who's smart and knows more about the political system than probably anybody in Congress today, but that man, that person is the ethical person that he is.
he really is.
It's
He
like,
really is.
what did we ever do to deserve that?
Yeah, a lot of things not to deserve it, I tell you that.
Exactly.
Really, really cuckoo. Oh my gosh. Well, I think that we're all gonna I don't know. It's not like I'm gonna go hook up to cable news again, but I think I gotta start searching out some more news because this is really juicy, this stuff that's
I
happening.
I tend to watch Midas Touch and several of their affiliates that have spun off of them that are fairly accurate and good reporters.
Yeah,
Mary Trump
the only thing I
brings
don't
a
like
lot of
about
good stuff.
Midas Touch is that they keep talking about when Trump gets in and Trump this and Trump that and JD
They
Vance
haven't
and
been
Elon.
saying that very
Oh,
strongly lately.
oh yeah? Oh,
That's
because
kind of
that
shifted.
really turned me off. Who have I been watching? I've been reading Ground News and AP News. They're reliable, but then you have to rely on what articles come out for them. And every once in
Yeah.
a while, I'll just look at like a snippet of something from one of the old legacy medias and just to kind of know what's going on. But
Yeah.
it is so
Well, I
wow.
know Don Lemon has now
Oh yes, Don
he
Lemon. I
has
watched
his
him.
own YouTube thing now, and he's
Yeah.
actually, now that he's unchained and
Yeah.
able to speak his mind, he's a
Mhm.
lot more progressive than I ever gave him credit
Oh
for.
yeah, he is very progressive. I
Um,
like him.
and
Yeah,
he's
Jessica
pretty
Denson.
lethal with his questions.
Yeah,
So,
Jessica Denson
um,
also, but Jessica Denson, um, I don't know. I mean, I'm a psychic, I'm talking about woo-woo stuff, and
yeah,
I'm seeing things that are happening in the
Stephanie
future,
Miller, yeah, I
and
watch her.
it's just hard. Stephanie, who's
Tom
Stephanie?
Hartman, that's another good one.
There are they with
Uh,
isn't Tom Hartman with Midas Touch?
Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman both had a long time. They did just radio, and then they slowly
Mhm.
moved into
Oh, okay.
the podcasting. They currently are with Free Speech TV,
Mhm.
and that's another good one, Free Speech TV. You can watch most of
Hmm.
their stuff for free. And and they have some excellent, excellent journalists on there. And
Okay. I know since I'm not watching a lot of the other stuff, I've been experiencing all sorts of other people who are putting stuff out there. Yeah. And it's somebody's
yeah,
saying watch
Stephanie
Mary
Miller,
Trump.
her dad was in politics, was actually the
Mhm.
vice president with Mondale
Mhm.
for running. Of course, they lost, but
Mhm.
still. Um,
Mhm.
so she comes from a very conservative family, but she's as progressive as you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people in the chat are making some great suggestions. And a lot of these, I gotta say, I've watched, and for one reason or another,
Bella's good.
I didn't like them. But watch somebody that you feel you can trust, and don't worry about turning off to the legacy media
Tom
because
Hartman, I can't say
bad
enough
right
good
now.
stuff about Tom Hartman. He's a former, I mean, he's been a professor, he's been a teacher, he's
Mm-hmm.
run several of his own businesses over the years.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing radio/podcasts for
Mm-hmm.
25, 30 years easily. And he knows his shit. He knows what he's talking about. And sometimes he can get a little too focused on one thing, and he just kind of like can't seem to shake himself off at that point. But eventually he'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really good. Stephanie Miller, one of her co-hosts is, and now I'm going blank on the woman's name. She's Carol Burnett's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she does a lot of she's kind of like co-hosts with Stephanie Miller now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's pretty good, and she's got a lot of contacts just through the people she's known because of her mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are doing good stuff. But you just have to
yeah,
use a little
Jody
discernment.
Hamilton, thank you, Rose, that's
Yeah.
her name. Yeah,
But you have to use a little discernment and realize,
do.
If they're not completely independent, who is paying their bills and why, because I know that for so many people connected with media, it's with major media, with legacy media, it's just slanted. It's just not fair and free. It's just not. And so you have to you have to be very, very careful, and use discernment. But so we've been on for about an hour, 15 minutes now. And so I think we've, solved all the problems of the world except for the inauguration date, which obviously is going to be in April. We determined that. You're welcome. And I think
I
that
don't necessarily agree with that, but go for it.
right, who knows. But
It
we did,
probably won't be January 20th.
yeah,
Okay.
it probably won't be. But it's interesting that like Sterling and some others are just so like on January 20th. And like, if you don't allow for these timelines to jump because they are jumping, then you're kind of going to get lost in the dust. You're going to get left in the dust. So, but we will be back in a couple of weeks, I think, right? When's the next
Yeah,
time we're doing this? Yeah.
on the 3rd or something like that.
Yeah, Friday the 3rd and January 17th, also Friday. So in
Yeah,
oh, is that right? We're doing I thought I
the
changed
3rd
this.
and the 17th. Yeah.
No, but I thought I changed this. I got to go back and look at my schedule. I don't think that's right. But the 3rd definitely. We're definitely back on the 3rd.
And
So
are you doing something on the 27th? Are you doing the Cool Crone Oracle on the 27th?
I don't think that date's right. I think I have to look at my schedule, and for everybody that is a subscriber on my channel, even if I screw up and don't make the broadcast public right away, I put out my own notices 2 days before every show that I do. So if you are a subscriber and you subscribe, getting all notifications, you will get a notice coming up in your feed from me, a post
Yeah.
saying this show is happening at this date and time. And I don't always get the latest title in there because I do my scheduling of all of those things way in advance. So sometimes I don't have the time to go back and correct them, but it will tell you when the show is and what time it is. The StreamYard and YouTube notifications are just, a happy extra. So,
So if you happen to get some unbelievable news between now and next Friday, would you consider doing PoliTarology again next Friday?
I would consider it, but that's going to be the day after I have this procedure done on my face. and I'm not quite sure I want to be on camera.
Oh, I didn't know you were having something done to your face. There's
Yeah.
nothing with your face, leave it alone.
No, it's not like plastic surgery or anything, but it is gonna
Oh, you're talking about on the 27th. To do it on the 27th and again on the 3rd, right, Cleo? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, well, on December 27th, we're supposed to be doing a cool Crone oracle, but
Right.
I might be mostly off camera for that. I'm not sure. But
Okay.
if things are really popping over this next few days, then maybe we will switch that to a PoliTarology. I just don't know.
All right.
Okay, so I don't know about the schedule.
Say the word.
Just in case.
And one thing I wanted to say to all my subscribers, first of all, thank you, all of you, for subscribing. Thank you to all my new subscribers. You are just awesome. You are knocking it out of the park. I can't believe how many new subscribers I all of a sudden have. And also for 2025, I am changing up my schedule. That's why I'm not sure about what the dates are. I think my calendar didn't quite update the right way. So, and also the day that I'm actually getting my procedure done is Christmas Eve. So if you could just send a nice thought towards me for healing on Christmas Eve, that would be great. Easy date to remember. Easy date to remember. I should, that's a Tuesday, right? That Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I should be okay by Friday. I should look just fine by Friday, but we'll see. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. We have a huge crowd in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Cleo. Thank you, Shari. Shari, thank you for being my admin and co-host. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
Cannot do it without you. And the conversation was just amazing.
Say the word.
Yes, and I want to say Merry Christmas to all the chatters over here. Plus, I love your input as usual. I mean, I learned so much I learned more from the chatters than I do from the news on YouTube. So
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it is great.
And they've been steady plugging it in the whole show. I mean,
yeah. It's wonderful. So anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays. Have a cool Yule, and we will see you guys as soon as we can. And you'll get an announcement.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Bye, everybody. See you